Hey, APUSH teachers. One of the best ways to help students improve in their APUSH essays, whether it be a DBQ or an LEQ, is to help them think like an AP reader. In this activity, your students step into the roles of real AP readers. They score released student essays using College Board rubrics and scoring guidelines. This simulation helps them see what high-scoring essays do well, what weak essays struggle with, and how to bridge that gap in their own writing. The good news is you'll only need a few materials for your mock AP reading, and you'll find all the materials you need ready to go on College Board under archived FRQs. First, choose a released essay prompt, LEQ or DBQ. Then make copies of the prompt, the official scoring guidelines, and the student sample essays that go with it. It's also helpful to print blank copies of the LEQ or DBQ rubrics for scoring. I make a folder for each essay, and I remove any identifying numbers or scores so students can't just guess which essay scored the highest. Start by explaining to your students that they will be simulating the AP reader experience. I tell mine that they're now official AP readers and their job is to apply the rubric as accurately as possible. And at the end, we'll get to see how their scores compare to the real scores. It's also important to explain that the goal is not to guess the score, but to understand the reasoning behind each point on the rubric. Before scoring, have students pair up and spend a few minutes just reading through the scoring guidelines. They should discuss what the prompt is asking for and what the rubric is looking for points like thesis, evidence, analysis, and even complexity. Encourage them to highlight or annotate key phrases. This step sets the foundation for accurate scoring. Next, divide your class into 4 or 5 groups depending on the number of released essays. Each group gets one folder with copies of the same student essay. Give students 10 minutes per round. The first 5 minutes is to read and annotate the essay. The next 5 minutes is to discuss and decide on a score using the rubric. Then rotate the essay folders and repeat until each group has had a chance to score each sample essay. These rotations let students see a full range of writing from high to low. It also helps build their understanding of what separates the stronger essays from the weaker ones. Then it's time for the big score reveal. Share the official College Board scores for each sample essay. And be sure to read through the sample response commentary. This helps students compare their scores to the real ones and gain insight into the reading process. And finally, it's always good to wrap up with a quick reflection discussion. What essays did they over or underscore on, and why do they think that is? What did the best essays tend to have in common? What should they avoid in the future based on the weaker essays? And my favorite question, how will this change the way that you write your own essays? By walking through the scoring process themselves, students gain a clear picture of how their writing will be evaluated on the AP exam. Students now know what earns points, how to connect evidence or even documents to your argument, and what complexity should really look like. This activity connects students to the rubric and AP expectations, helping them understand what those historical thinking skills should look like on the DBQ and LEQ. So pick a prompt and have fun with it. We would love to hear how this goes in your classroom.